Hey everybody, I just wanted to invite anyone that's interested in minoring or majoring in philosophy, or even if you're just thinking about it, you're not sure, I'd be more than happy to talk about that with you, and I can let you know what to expect in the curriculum, what kind of career prospects there are, what kind of things people do with philosophy, and so on and so forth. So let me know if that's something that you're even just thinking about, or if you really think you might have some interest in it. I'll say a couple things here. One thing that certainly would cross your mind, and people would probably say to you, is that that doesn't sound very practical. Even if you happen to love it or like it, what are you going to do in terms of career and stuff like that? That's a totally legitimate question and concern. And making money and having a solid career is just part of being in the world these days. One thing that people may not know is really that there are a lot more practical advantages to a philosophy degree than some people realize. I have some links here, and you can kind of explore some of those. Clearly, if you want to go into a PhD program and you want to do academics, you want to be in academia, maybe as a professor or teacher, something like that, sure, a philosophy degree is actually very good training, even if you want to go into a PhD program in history or English or something related, obviously if you want to go into philosophy proper. But even in something like law, business, and medicine, philosophy majors do very well in these fields. A lot of successful people in these fields were philosophy majors, and philosophy majors tend to score very well on entrance exams like the LSAT and MCAT. Certainly in law, that's one of the main destinations for philosophy majors. And I've spoken with some people in law schools, and they tend to look very favorably on people that majored in philosophy because certainly if you do a whole range of the coursework, it typically is a very rigorous course of study. Our course was introductory. We're just kind of scratching the surface. But really, if you take a full major in it, you're really honing your skills of analysis and argumentation, arguably better than any other major requires of you. That's really what we do in philosophy, and people in law school know this. So there are also statistics which show philosophy majors to be the highest scoring major on the LSAT, and really it's not that surprising. 2 full sections on critical reasoning on the LSAT, another one on logic games on the LSAT. That is really the meat and bones of philosophy right there. So certainly it's good preparation for that. And really, if you think about it in law, you have to make a case. And that's what philosophers do. And they make cases about other people's cases and make fine-grained distinctions and all of those kinds of things. So also in medicine and business, there at least is some precedent for and statistics that show that philosophy majors do pretty well in these fields. I have a few links here. You can see there are some famous philosophy majors. Phil Jackson, who's currently coaching the Lakers to no doubt yet another championship. We'll see. Philosophy majors, in my experience, have been really satisfied with their choice. I mean, honestly, I can't really recall talking to anyone that majored in philosophy and was really disappointed for having done so. I'm sure they're out there, but all the philosophy majors I speak to are very satisfied with it, and I think they feel like it really leaves an impact. A course here or there may not really change you or kind of leave an enduring impact in your life, but a major will. I mean, it really provides you with something that stays with you, and something which people, in my experience, really appreciate. So what else here? Then there's things about beyond the practical. Let's say we get a career and we do well, or we do well enough, and we've got our kind of practical situation in hand. Kudos to you, and great. That's no small achievement these days. We also want to live fulfilling lives, and the more practical majors don't necessarily equip us to do that. This gets into maybe some murky territory about what a fulfilling life is and stuff like that. But I think that you would come out of a philosophy major with at least the kind of tools for piecing together your own conception of what a fulfilling life is, or more importantly, really living one. And it's not like any one theory or any one class gives you any one answer that, means you don't have to think about it anymore. But it's more a kind of broad perspective that you get after doing a whole sequence of coursework that is a perspective which allows for fulfillment and meaning to be pursued and understood. And you can really bring that to your practical success. And, you can probably go find that in other places too. I'm not trying to say that philosophy is the only place where you could get that, but it is a place. And it is pretty rigorous too. I mean, it's not just like a weekend seminar where you go find, I don't know, the meaning of life or whatever those things do. It's years of continued study, and you're also in a place to continue to study philosophy really for the rest of your life. And it's stuff that you can pass on to your children, maybe friends. I'm kind of starting to do that with my daughter. She's 10 now, and at the moment, I have to say, in all honesty, she hasn't expressed any great interest in philosophy. She hears me making these little videos every now and then, and has commented a couple of times that when she hears me do these, she's become convinced that she's not going to study philosophy in college. But, she's just being a snarky little 10-year-old, maybe. But anyways, it does also give you, I think, that perspective that you might pass on to children, friends. So, there's really a lot to it. I think it's easy to underestimate or brush aside a philosophy major, but nothing's been around longer. Most other branches of knowledge, university majors, even careers, were grounded in philosophy, at least going back in history. Most branches of knowledge literally branched off from the trunk of philosophy. So there's really lots of things that philosophers have been successful in doing. Quite often they become specialized areas of knowledge and they get a new name. I was just trying to speak to a few different things here. Check out those links. I think the Harvard link is fairly interesting. Check them out. And again, if you're interested, by all means, drop me a line and let me know. Okay, I hope you guys have a great summer and, of course, a great life. See you later.